Okay, class, over the weekend, I want you all to do this GIMP image of a movie poster with 20 layers.
But Mr. Hawks, the dance is this weekend.
I know the dance is this weekend. You guys just gonna have to figure it out.
Man, we're not gonna get this done on time.
I have an idea. We can cheat.
What if we get caught?
That's a risk I'm willing to take.
Whatever, man.
How to cheat. Score. Oh, hey, Mr. Hawks.
No, I'm very disappointed in you. You know cheating's wrong.
I know, Mr. Hawks. I just wanted to finish in time for the dance.
Yeah, but you're not going to the dance this weekend.
Oh, man.
Told you shouldn't have cheated, man.
It like negatively affects you and your classmates. I know from personal experience that like when different people in your class kind of engage in cheating with one another and like the teacher finds out about it, it doesn't just affect you, but like your entire class is kind of looked negatively upon.
Also, when you cheat, in the end, you're not learning anything from it, which is the whole point of going to school, is to learn new things. And if you cheat, you're not getting anything out of the class or out of the assignment.
People cheat by sharing answers, so it's not always like looking up answers, but also like giving them to your friends.
Yeah, I think like a lot of the time it's not like the traditional like writing on a piece of paper and like holding it during a test. It's like things that are at home and just sharing answers that you don't think is cheating, but it really is.
It's not like you look up something, like there's research projects, so you could look stuff up, but it's mainly like sharing answers, sending pictures of your homework, stuff like that.
A lot of times students talk about like what was on quizzes or tests that they had like previous periods, and then if the kids were in the same class later in the day, they're like, oh, watch out for this, this was on the test. So it's kind of hard to avoid sometimes.
Yeah, like pop quizzes, like some teachers give pop quizzes out, and then like the other periods tell them what's on the pop quiz, so the other classes like do better than the other classes before them.
Well, it adds like unneeded stress to your life, and most of the time if you're looking things up at home or trying to find things quickly, it's because you already have a lot of work to do, so it just adds stress, wondering like if a teacher addresses a class that like kids cheated or, you know, answers seem to match things that were online, like now you're worrying that it was you and like what could happen instead of just having it done in the first place.
Plus it's like much easier like to cheat now, like you see people doing it like all the time, and it's like we have more advanced technology, you can look things up at home, you can like use your calculators, you can do anything, and it's very easy to do, and it's very hard to avoid because you always have an option of like, if I did this, I know I would get a better grade, but it's not like the moral thing to do. Yeah, like kind of like, oh no thanks, I'm not gonna do that, but it's, you can't affect someone else's personal choices.
I also think that you don't know, like, not that cheating is okay, but you don't know what that person's going through in their life. So, you know, like long nights of homework or studying or like a need to have a certain grade to pass or things like that, you don't want to be the person that's gonna like push that person down when they could already be going through things.
that's kind of like the student in me thinking like, because I know people who it's happened to, like, no, it probably shouldn't be weighted the same, but also you cheated, you were assigned this task, it probably wasn't too difficult for you to do, and if it was, you most likely had time to do it. So if you're not using your time wisely, that's also a big factor in it. So, I mean, from like an objective point of view, I think it should be weighted the same.
I don't think it should be weighted the same because I think like aside from assignment, it kind of depends on the person a lot, and that's like where it gets tricky when coming up with a punishment. But you know, there's people who are lazy and don't ever do their work and always copy other people's, and then there's people who, you know, do everything they're supposed to do all the time, and like I said before, there could be one personal issue that's going on in their lives and they can't afford a bad grade, and it's like now they're getting this really harsh punishment when somebody else who didn't get caught but does that every day like never gets punished.
Like, I think along with what Georgie is saying, like, it's kind of very similar. Like, there's a difference between like just not doing your homework and like, oh, I'll look it up and just find the answers, and like actually not knowing how to do it and trying at something and not being able to find it, and then you're like looking up how to do a problem similar to it or whatever, and then you find that problem. That's like, sometimes that can be a coincidence. You're like, that's the problem that I'm trying to solve. You know, sometimes things just happen that way and you don't mean for them to, but you should try with your best efforts to avoid it.